Hari, Hari, Hari Om Tatsat. Jai Guru. Shuddho Buddho Vimukta Sudhishikara Giram Mukhyatatparya Bhumi Yasmad Jadam Samastam Jagadidam Amrdat Vyapya Sarvam Sthido Yaha Yasyam Sham Shavatarei Suranaravanajai Rekshitam Sarvamedad Tam Bhumanam Mukundam Hridigatamalam Krishnameva Prapadye Tam Bhumanam Mukundam Hridigatamalam Krishnameva Prapadye Madhya Hridaya Kashe Sadanandamayo Guru Udedu Satatam Samyak Swatmananda Prabodhaka. Hari, Hari, Hari Om Tas. Jai Guru, Jai Guru. Hari, Hari. Join me. The third one. Hari Om Tas. Arjuna faced conflict when he was prepared for 13 years before facing the war. Why he was not enlightened? Nehru is the person. Who is that? Okay. Arjuna had all the material powers that you can think of, represented by his bow. Then he had very physical strength and prowess. Mentally also he was strong. He has got a name called Gudakesha. Overcoming the sleep, he could do austerity for several days and months. Intellectually also, he was very sharp. In front of Krishna, he presented a number of arguments, trying to prove that fight was not possible, it is not necessary, etc. So in terms of normal knowledge, power, strength, possession, etc., Arjuna was full. But what he lacked was something beyond it. If I explain it, will you be sensitive and grasp the point? There are two words which I would like you to understand. Subject and object. The subject and the object are always different from each other, one opposed to the other. The entire world, including our body, it is an object. You look at a wall, you look at a mountain. Unless the mountain is separate from you, you cannot look at it. Now, what is looked at is the object, and what is looking on is the subject. So Arjuna had all the object knowledge, but he missed the subject knowledge. What is the subject? The I is the subject. Is it clear to you? You say, my ego, my intelligence. I'm not very sharp. I don't have so much of a sharp intelligence. My mind is not very stable. It is always fearful. So you refer to them as, generally you say, I am hungry. When you are questioned, you are hungry? No, my stomach, I ate long back, now I need food. First of all, you say, I am hungry. Thinking about it further, you say, my stomach is hungry. So there is a difference in your own statements. I don't have any hunger, my stomach has hunger. What eats is my stomach, alimentary canal. So this I is only one, and that is within our body. I will tell you about the I a little later. So he did not have the spiritual I, that self-knowledge. That is why he crumbled. Is it clear? Now, Krishna tried to expose him to the soul, which I had mentioned. There was no time when we were not. There is not going to be a time when we shall cease to be, and we are present now. So we are an eternal existence, not a fleeting one. When this knowledge was given to him, suddenly he picked up strength. He picked up confidence. And at the end of the talk, end of the dialogue, Arjuna said, I am absolutely clear and stable. He took back his bow and weapons which he had kept down. And then he said, I shall fight not one, if necessary, a score of Mahabharata wars. So he got enlightened. That enlightenment does not mean full seatedness in it. That will require practice and perfection. Is the question answered now? What is the difference between soul and sound? Rexon, who asked this question? Very good. Very good. What is the the difference between soul and sound? So many questions have been asked in front of me. But this is the first time I find a question like this. Soul and sound. I don't know why you picked up sound. The body everybody knows. The body is stout. It is a mass of matter. It has got different parts, well integrated. The one description that I can give to you is body is gross. Gross. Anything that is perceived by the senses is gross. What cannot be perceived by the senses is subtle. Shall I repeat it? Whatever is perceptible to the senses is gross. What is not perceptible to the senses is subtle. A subtle thing alone can be present in a gross item. So our body is gross. The Panchabhutas, the 5 elements constituting the world, they are gross. Then what is subtle? Subtle is the mind, intelligence, ego, and the I. These are the subtle things. Am I clear? Now we have picked up sound. Sound is something that we can hear with the ear. Can you not hear sound? Perceptible to all the senses. Color and shape you see with the eyes. Sound you hear with the ears. Smell you identify with your nose. Taste with the tongue. And touch with the skin. All are gross. So sound is a gross product. Soul is a subtle presence. The soul is present within the body. The sound is heard by the ear. You produce a sound and I hear it. Have you understood the difference? Huh? Yes. But one point I want to add. You may not have thought about it. A living body alone can speak. A dead body cannot speak. So you can say sound is a manifestation of the soul. And generally, developed sound will come only when you have developed thinking. So about sound, I have an explanation. It is audible thought. audible, and thought itself is inaudible speech. So the sound actually represents the mind and the thought process that goes on there. It's an expression of the soul. Everything is, but sound is particularly so. Is it okay? What is the purpose of the continuous cycle of life and death? If God is so kind and perfect, why weren't we created perfect? What is the purpose of the continuous cycle of life and death? If God is so kind and perfect, why weren't we created perfect? See, this is a very grave question. If the question is attempted to be answered, all of you will have to transcend whatever you see sensorily. I shall try. Let me try to explain it. Why do you say the world is not perfect? It is perfect. What is meant by perfection? You will feel perfect when all your needs, questions and doubts, all the things are fully met. We have hunger by the stomach, in the stomach, thirst. Similarly, we have quest for peace. We have doubts in the intelligence. All of them also will have to be met. So, anybody looking at the world should not feel something is lacking in this world. Suppose there were only rich people in this world, one man may come up. All people are rich. What is this? Where is the alternate for me? Who is that poor man? I am not able to feel and sense poverty. Will be a question. Do you understand? No. Perfection means what? A pendulum has to swing. When it swings from one extreme to the other. So in every walk of life in this world, you will have things which range from the worst to the best. Then world is perfect. Everyone is placed in between and you are supposed to develop yourself. And finally, what is the development? You will have to transcend both. When you say perfection, it is in relation to imperfection. So unless the imperfection is there, can there be perfection? Huh? So perfection and imperfection are a pair of opposites, and the entire world consists of only pairs of opposites. Nothing else. Man and woman, day and night, happiness and unhappiness, good and bad, virtue and vice, heaven and hell, birth and death, existence and non-existence. Look at the world outside. You see the earth solid, water is fluid, air is gaseous, fire is energy, and the space is indescribable. The whole thing has come from the subtle space, all the gross things. So the subtle space and the gross other elements together constitute the world. So if the world has to become full and complete, it must have the full range of worst to the best. Is it clear to you? Huh?
Yes.
One man came to our ashram many years back. At that time I had settled on the Pandavagiri slope. I generally don't go out except when people come to me, I talk to them. And he was explaining, what is the harm in drinking liquor? It is one of the products made by nature. Everything is to be enjoyed by us. So I also have my drink. I laughed internally. What answer do you have? It is produced by nature. So what is the harm? Don't you taste and eat whatever nature gives you? Very good apples, very good fruits, other things also. So here also it's a product given by nature. What is the harm in having? So I will drink but not harm anybody. So the choice of man ranges from one infinity to another infinity. I think why? Anybody looking at the world should never be able to say, the world lacks in something. I want something more. It is full. Then another point is, the world is perfect and full to one whose mind itself is perfect and full. You put on a blue glass and look at everything. What will they look like? Blue. So if your mind is good and perfect, when you look at everything, everywhere will be good. I will give you a Sanskrit statement. Purne manasi sampurnam jagat sarvam sudhadravaihi upanad gudhapadasya nanu charmastradaiva bhu. When the mind becomes full, everything that you look at will become full. You put on a pair of slippers. Wherever you walk, you will find the earth is covered by your slipper. You don't have to spread a skin or a material to cover. You have covered your feet, and the feet is what makes you touch the earth. So when your mind is full, everything is full. When you have slippers, wherever you go, you don't feel the touch of the earth. So this is how. When we speak of imperfection in the world, that imperfection is in our own vision, our own assessment. Is our life our doing? If God is so kind and perfect, why are many people suffering in the world, born in poverty and sickness, when they have not even done anything wrong or sin? Nandika. Who's Nandika? See, I told you that the pairs of opposites constitute the world. So in all walks of life we have pairs of opposites. Poverty and riches are a pair of opposites. Health and ill health are another pair of opposites. So if pair of opposites constitute the world, don't you think we must have poverty and also riches? Huh? You know, in India, people like us, we embrace poverty. You don't understand my expression. Huh? When I became a sannyasi, what did I do? From today onwards, I am poor, I have nothing. I left my profession, I left my income, I also left my blood relations. We left everything. When everything is left, do we become rich or poor? Poor. So we embrace poverty. And I found my delight and fulfillment in this. So what is wrong in being poor? So if you have riches, you must also have poverty. Either it is the lowest degree of riches or the lowest degree of poverty. You know there is no darkness in this world. There is no darkness in this world. Darkness is what our eyes identify. For the eyes to see, you must use light. So whenever there is a dark place, let us go and examine whether it is dark at all or not. So you go with a light. When you go with a light, will darkness be there? So looking at what are you calling dark and darkness? There is economic privation, poverty. There is psycho-intellectual privation, poverty. Most of the people in this world are suffering from inner mental poverty. When you are not able to feel affluent, resourceful, That is poverty of the mind, poverty of the intelligence. So we have many kinds of poverty. Economic poverty is also one. It is for us. We have got governments anywhere in the world. What is the government supposed to do? Collect taxes, distribute them properly. What for? To make sure that the people are happy and contented. So it is for them to ensure that everybody has a square meal. They have food to eat, dress to wear, and a place to live. Unless a government ensures this, it has got no right to exist and collect taxes. So don't you think it's a mismanagement of the people? If we have excess population, we should try to reduce the population moderately. Every freedom is given to man. The intelligence is there. Unless you employ it properly, we will have suffering. So economic poverty is a human creation, not God's creation. Do you agree or disagree? If there is no water to drink, I can say it is nature's creation. If there is a cyclone, even now we are handling the earth in such a manner that we will be prone to a number of dangers. We don't know what they are. Already the global heating is going on, warming. Then there is an emergent thinking and also effort to reduce global warming. Green gas is being emitted in disproportionate levels. Why are some people so evil and selfish in their actions? Is there any education being given to the newborn children and all people that they should become selfless? Do the parents at home teach the children to become selfless, feel for the others? How many mothers have said this? Even now are saying this. Everybody instills into the born child selfishness, not selflessness. So we are born selfish, and selflessness has to be sought, striven for, and had. So you strive for selflessness, it is okay. The one disease of man is ignorance. Everybody is ignorant. Ignorance is the worst plight of man. Unless there is a constant effort, children are getting born every time, every day. As we are speaking, some children are getting born in the world. So the born child, right from then on, will have to be given tuition. The tuition should be such that they are enlightened. Good qualities are cultivated in them. If the good qualities, beneficial ones, are not exhibited by the people, it will harm the society. When there are harmful notes, they have to be contended by law, by the government. Don't think it is difficult. I was reading the other day Mahabharata, and they were saying Yudhishthira was ruling the country, ruling the kingdom extremely well. He was helped by Arjuna, the most dazzling fighter, Bhima, another person who can confront physically everybody, and Sahadeva and Nagula. All of them had their own distinct contributions to make in ruling and ensuring welfare, ruling the country and ensuring welfare. Everybody was prosperous, peaceful, free, and jubilant. Do you think it is impossible? No. If only we are able to mobilize the resources, mobilize the total income of the country properly, there will be no trouble. In European countries, about Sweden particularly, I was told, their taxes go up to 40 to 45%. And the taxpayer does not have any feeling of badness about it. They say we are happy to pay because all facilities are provided by the government. Education, hospitalization, not to speak of food and the rest. It's a fact of the world in this world. So if they can do it, why not all other countries do it? Huh? In the G20 conference, 2 days conference, they have taken up some decisions and plan of action. I think they are extremely good. They are going to make a rail corridor from India through Europe to America. And this is supposed to be actualized by 2030. Can you imagine? To facilitate travel and trade. How many things are to be done? And the world has enough money. Enough money. There are countries to contribute to such global welfare measures. But we are not doing it. Why 2030? Why it took so long a time? I think it is simply given to man. Now, an individual cannot do it, but individual thoughts can become collective and change the destiny of the world. You know, India was under the British rule. A handful of people met in Allahabad years back. See, they all said, we want liberation. We will liberate the country. All people mocked at them. What? British clutches. You are going to liberate? Impossible. But did it become a reality? Malaysia also became free like that. I think everything is possible in the human world. But not without resistance, without opposition. You should know how to deal with it and how to mellow it down, overcome it. The human being alone is the one being in the world who is placed in the midst of an amplitude. He is given the mind and the intelligence to choose what he wants and achieve it. The tiger cannot do it. The cat and the elephant cannot do it. They are all born with a certain nature and tendencies, and they are supposed to continue with them. No change. But in the case of man, body alone is shaped. Mind and intelligence are not shaped. The potentials of the mind and the intelligence are there. Now you have to shape them in the manner you want. That is why nature has given you the power of thinking and the power of speech, so that you can share your thoughts with others and mobilize support. A person who is given to evil can drop his evil and become the most virtuous. And the virtuous people can become vicious also. Both freedoms are there. Understand it well. You have to become responsible to what you are and what you will be. Decide your fate. Decide your plight. Not to have one more eye and one more hand. But make your mind. If it is harmful, harmless. If it is unkind, kind. If it is ignoble, noble. My dear souls, if you are able to think well, everything can be changed, but it will take its own time. Sudden changes will hit the psychology of man. If a born left-hander is forced to become a right-hander, they say even the brain will be split. So we have to be proceeding in a gradual manner. Have I answered the question? Huh? Okay, very good. I would like to tell you something. Meanwhile, I told you something saying it's a precious treasure, etc. Did you like what I said? Huh? Did you like? I think you have to think about it more. Similarly, I am going to expose you to something very, very important. Expose you about whom or what? About yourself. I am not going to tell you about anything else. Shall I say? Yes. Shall I give you some time? Be not deluded. Use your intelligence, employ your intelligence and think freely. Our day consists of 24 hours. Out of the 24 hours, we are remaining wakeful only for 16 hours. Half the duration we are asleep. Nobody wakes us up. We wake up and we sleep. So the whole life is spent in wakefulness and sleep alone. And this wakefulness and sleep, to whom do they belong? Why don't you answer me? They belong to the individual, not collectively, individually. What you call the world, and you must, either you are afraid of or you are ambitious about. This world is only in your wakefulness. Ottukarela? Huh? As it is in your wakefulness, so it is not in your sleep. Does not the existence then depend upon your wakefulness? Answer me. Why is this reluctance and doubt? Does the world not depend upon our wakefulness? And when we pass from wakefulness to sleep, the world I saw and interacted with totally became obliterated. Who wiped off the world? Our own mind. We have one more state called dream. All the three states belong to you. Do you agree? Yes. All the three states belong to you. You possess them. You are made up of them. You pass from one state to the other. When you pass from sleep to wakefulness, sleep is lost. And I become wakeful. You become wakeful. Then wakefulness also you pass and go to sleep. Sometimes from sleep you go to dream. So wakefulness, dream and sleep are the three segments, three states which constitute our mind and our life. And in the 24-hour day, only for 16 hours generally you remain wakeful. Now, when I am wakeful, the sleep is overcome. It passes. So when the sleep already passes, can it bring wakefulness? Huh? Yes, how can it be? It is gone. I am confronted now. Something that has gone, can it bring anything? Huh? The sleep has terminated. So it cannot bring wakefulness. Wakefulness terminates. So it cannot bring sleep. Sometimes from sleep we go to dream. Dream also terminates. So each state cannot bring another because itself it disappears. So what is it that brings one after the other? That brings one after the other? So there must be a fourth factor. What are the three? Sleep, wakefulness and dream. Three factors. There must be something besides the three which underscores and survives the three, and thereby it pushes back sleep, brings back wakefulness, pushes back wakefulness, brings back sleep, pushes the sleep, brings dream. So there is a fourth factor. That fourth factor is the I. Tell me who sleeps? I slept. So is not the I present in sleep? Yes. Nanna yojana panni paathu sollunga kodela. Do I get lost in sleep? I am the person who says I slept after waking up. I am the person who says, I dreamt. I am the person who says, I am wakeful. So in the three states, there is something different from the three called the I. This I transcends the three. Agreed? Or doubts? Huh? I can leave my sleep, go to be wakeful. I can leave the wakefulness, go to sleep. I can leave sleep, go to dream. I can leave dream and be wakeful. So I seem to be quite independent. And it runs through all the three, bringing one after the other. So is the I transcendental to the three or depending upon them? Othukundela? So to transcend Sukha Dukkhas, is it difficult? I will catch hold of you. This is called intelligence, reason. Our whole spirituality is absolute rational. Absolutely rational. As the I is floating in the three, realize this fact and try to float yourself. I spoke about floating. The word transcend, it has got a very great meaning. When I am walking, there is a little crevice there. So I take a long stride and cross over it or turn this way. I have not interfered with it. So in any transcendence, what you transcend will be there. Water has got a drowning power. We don't take it away. But we learn swimming and remain afloat in the drowning waters. Similarly, the Sukha and the Dukkha will come and go. I don't disturb them. But I don't allow them to disturb me. I will transcend them. So in Bhagavad Gita there is a beautiful verse. Dukkheshu anudvignamanaha sukheshu vigataspruha vita raga bhaya krodha stidadhir muniruchyade. A man of stable wisdom, unshakable mind, dislodgeable understanding, unassailable. Unassailable. Who is that man? Dukkheshu. In a variety of griefs. Anudvignamanaha. His mind will not be agitated. He will understand dukkha is an alternate to sukha. Before its arrival, sukha was there. Sukha transited and dukkha came. The dukkha also will transit and sukha will come. So neither for them to come nor for them to go, I don't have to struggle. So I remain afloat. I marry dukkhas. I am allied to sukha. Is it not possible? Mudiyuma mudiyada? Sattam potu sollungole. What is this? You are already in sleep. You are already in wakefulness. You are already in dream. Several times these are coming and going, and no injury has been inflicted on the eye. Are you not the same eye? I can afford to be happy, I become happy. I can afford to be miserable, so I became miserable. In both, I was not involved. Both did not sweep me through. I remain a witness of these. A witness of these. In any suffering, have you got lost? Tell me the truth. In any grief, have you got lost? What shall I tell you? Why are you not replying? Have you not had grief in life? Yes. In any grief, were you lost? Yes. Yes? Yes? Then how are you alive now? Did any grief take away your life? Did any joy take away your life? Or you only experienced them and survived them? You experienced them? Survived. To experience means to survive. Not clear? To undergo means to survive. Every time I place my step, am I not covering distance? And is it not surviving every time? So you undergo the experience of grief. You are not lost being. You undergo the experience of suffering, but you are not lost. The I survives. So it experiences everything. It witnesses everything, but it never becomes the witnessed. Witnessed, S-S-E-D. The witness can never become the witnessed, and the witness can never become the witness. So tell me, whether your I is the witness or the witnessed. Huh? I am not able to hear you. It is the ED or not? It is the witness. Whatever happens to you, it will only witness. It witnesses the poverty, it witnesses opulence, it witnesses disease, it witnesses health, everything it witnesses. And it can never become otherwise. The witnessed also cannot become the witness. So what is your complaint now? You have no right to complain. You have no right to complain. The I is always witnessing. It is gliding through, like a log put on the water. Sometimes the water, there will be a waterfall. The log will go down, but only to appear with terrible force above. Now understand this factor, that we have got 3 states, and out of the 3 states, we see the world only in one of them. But we are not wakefulness alone. We are 8 hours sleeping. Does it not prove your independence? Huh? Your separateness? Your witness nature? So, as the I transcends the 3, can it not transcend Sukha Dukkhas? You can, I can say, but whether you will, I cannot say. Can, but will I? Shall I? When? These answers you have to find. So never tell me that we are a victim to the world. Never. You are victorious, not a victim. Everything comes and goes. Sukha Dukkhas come and go. You simply be there. My dear Sukha, come and go. I don't charge you any rent. You come and you go. I shall be here for you to come and go. I am the anchor. You are transitory. The world is transitory. Body is transitory. Mind is transitory. Intelligence is transitory. But I am... I am transitory or the witness to transitoriness. This is spiritual wisdom. Wisdom of your own mind, of your own intelligence, of your own eye. You can develop it to any level. When I read in our Shastras, at one point of time after I met my Gurudev and started doing sadhana, my sadhana was always very, very pleasant and vibrant. Every time. I was feeling so pleasurable that I said, I don't want this pleasure. What for do I need it? It is like sleep, it comes, goes. Enough of it. Then I started saying, have you understood this? If you understand it, what do you say? The I is the witness. Everything depends upon it. So it is the source. It is the anchor. Then what do I look for? Nothing. Nothing. I don't look for anything. If you have reached such a state, get out of the house. Be free of your profession and remain an ascetic, a wanderer. So I could not keep quiet. Chhod diya. I submitted my resignation asking the company to allow me to retire. Shaved off, put on this robe and left. From then on, I was in nothing and I was wanting nothing. This nothingness, immense nothingness to my credit, I have been moving in this world as a university, a moving university, for the past 67 years. Don't ask me what this knowledge can do. It only knows to give. It never knows to take. I was a giver. Even earlier I have not taken any loans from anybody. People used to take loans from me. What do you think? I am not speaking about a God. I am not speaking about anything outside of you. I don't speak even about your body, your mind, your intelligence, your ego. I am speaking about the transcendental I. That is what I am speaking about. That I is victorious. It is the most superior. It is most safely present inside your body. Unassailable to weapons. Nuclear bomb. Unassailable to cyclone. Earthquake. Disease. Disorder. It remains the witness. The question is, can you think about it, know about it, and realize it? When people tell me, Swamiji, how, I say, when you understand something, what for do you understand? To use it, isn't it? Huh? Swamiji, I have understood it. What do you mean by understanding? I have not read much because I did not find much to read. I am more a thinker than a reader. I speak and write. Quite a number of books I have written. I only do speaking or writing. And with computer, I am so happy. When the computer does all corrections and everything comes in a beautiful, luminous manner, I am so delightful. When I work on the computer, you cannot imagine my delight. I am very, very delighted. I don't need anything else. The joy that I get when I write, explaining all these matters, and replying letters. I have thousands of letters replied by me. So, this is even more joyous than meditative absorption and the knowledge of God even. It is so delightful. Previously, in the typewriter, mistake here, rubbing there and all that, everything it does, poor computer. Like moon, every letter appears there. So happy. And in writing, what do? I do nothing. I don't know where ideas are formed. How do they get transmitted? Finally, my fingertips move, and the letters are produced. That itself is great joy for me. I am witnessing God there, realizing God there. in everything. There is nothing besides God for me, only God. I feel shy to say God even. Because God alone is. Why should you say? Do you say I? Do you say your mother, you are my mother, you are my mother, you are my mother? Do you say that? Huh? Do you remind her or remind yourself about the mother? Or you deal with her as the mother? Similarly, the whole world is God. Mind you, you have 3 states, and in one of them alone, the world appears. You have 2 besides the world. Who is superior?
I.
Who is superior?
I.
In Gita, Krishna says, Indriyani paranyahu, indriyebhya param manah, manasastu para buddhi, yo buddhe paradastu saha. Arjuna, your senses are superior to the objects of the world. Mind is superior to the senses. Intelligence is still superior, and superior to the intelligence is the I. I have made a pictorial presentation. I don't know whether we have time to show you. Do you have 5 minutes?
Sure.
Huh?
Yes, Maharaj.
Then I shall show you. My message to all of you is, gain this knowledge. Understand the witness solid position, sovereign position of the I. And thereafter what do? You become a magnificent performer. What? A magnificent performer. And a magnificent enjoyer. Then a magnificent sufferer. என்ன சொல்றேன் நீங்க பயந்துக்கிறீங்களா? Are you fearful? A magnificent performer, a magnificent sufferer, and a Mahakarta, Mahabhokta, mighty performer. Your mind expands, it becomes broader and broader. To do your work with a small mind or a broad mind, which is better? So when the mind becomes more and more expansive, will it not reflect in your performance?
Yes.
Will it or not?
Yes.
So be ready for it, for the takeoff. I am not satisfied. You have done well, but I expected much more from your writing. Because you are all very intelligent, young. Nobody was there to explain all these things to me when I was young. You are all very fortunate. See, the tool of intelligence. Krishna used it. He activated the tool in Arjuna. And Arjuna started readily receiving, absorbing whatever Krishna said. Then he started questioning. The conversation, dialogue extended. So it was something very, very good. Very, very good. Great also. Your body has grown. Completed its growth. Latest by 21 years. Tell me what is to grow thereafter? Huh? Your inner personality. If the body grows, every year you will have to replace your door. So the body is a self-arresting condition, it has stopped and it declines. Maximum you may put on fat, that's all. All the limbs are developed. Wisdom teeth come a little later. That's all. So what part of your personality is given to growth thereafter? Your mind and intelligence. Allow them to grow. Mind can grow only by emotions and thoughts, feelings. Have the best of feelings. Never think only of your family. Couple, 2 children. Poop, poop. No. Like you is every other family. All families. Similarly, develop your mind. We have a beautiful slogan which Ma perhaps has told you. Agashaval lepa vidura goham. Like the immeasurable sky, I am unaffected. This is a diagram which I thought. See, our interactions are only through 5 senses. The 5 senses make the whole world fivefold. What are they? Sight, sound, smell, taste and touch. And the proportion also is indicated. Sight is the maximum, then sound, thereafter smell, then taste and touch. So the entire world is reduced to 5 by our body and senses. Tell me which is superior then? Our senses are superior to the world. And through the 5 sensations, when they trickle to the mind level, they become happiness and unhappiness too. They don't remain there also. They go further. You have a sleep state. In the sleep state, both disappear and become something indistinct. And this, shall I call it by the name noumenal? Phenomenon, the opposite of it, noumenon. So that noumenal being, it is from there, noumenal oneness, transcendence. From there, you see, the whole circle is drawn. And you can draw it covering the extremity of the universe. Until you wake up, the world cannot be seen. Even if God comes and stands before me, I close my eyes. He will have to beg of me, Swamiji, I have come, please open your eyes and see. If I close my eyes, God will have to return unseen. What are you saying? So the other one? See, we have 5 senses, objects. The senses are superior to the objects. Mind is superior to the senses. Intelligence is still superior to the mind. And there is something called the soul, the I. The roof is obstructing me. See? Everything in your personality is superior to the world, my dear children. Everything in this world. We are superior. Everything in our personality is superior to the world, beginning from the senses. Mind is superior, intelligence is still superior. Then you go to the I level, which is the most superior. What more do you want? Are you not superbly rich? Enna pesale? Are you not immensely resourceful? Harness this inner resourcefulness. That is why the center is named as Society for Inner Resources Development. People speak only of external resources and harnessing them. Actually, exploit is a word that should be removed. We can only harness the resources without creating any kind of a danger or damage. Harness it, make use of it. Say you are taking sunlight and making electricity. No trouble at all to the sun for anybody. Very good. But if you extract oil, it will be exhausted and the cavity has to be filled. There will be earthquake, so many problems will be there. So let us learn to live harnessing the resources for which your internal resources will have to be identified and harnessed. Where are the resources? In the mind and the intelligence. If to understand them, to think about them, and make an effort to harness them, if this session has helped, I am happy and grateful also to all of you. If it has not helped, then I am sorry. I will think further. Not stop. Okay. Very good. I feel very fortunate that we have been sitting together and we have been able to make you listen to something. of the inner resources. Inner resources. Inner resources. എല്ലാവരും നന്നായിരുന്നോ? Be good, noble and great, glorious. I mentally embrace all of you. I want you to grow. Have good children in your families, grandchildren also. Every child should be loving the home and family. They must equally have love for the society. They should love the nation and the globe. They should use their skills and education, improve them, and use them for the GDP growth of the country and the nation. Then I think we shall be very prosperous. There will be no poverty in this world at all. If people can live well, I think poverty can be eliminated in about 3 or 4 years by each nation. But the message should be put across. The message, my dear man, your inner resources are more valuable than external resources. You don't need. The inner resources are so abundant and full. This exposure should be provided. And everyone should try for it, especially a responsible God. Okay. I will conclude the session with an invocation and a conclusional Omkara. Samvedyavarjitamanuttamamekamadhyam samvidpadam vigalanam kalayan mahatman hridyeva tishtha kalanarahita kriyam tu kurvan agartrapaдаметya samodita shri kurvan agartrapaдаметya samodita shri. Now we shall recite. I hope you will participate in a much fuller measure this time, because we are familiar that mutuality must have grown. Hari, Hari, Hari. Okay, Hari Om Tas. Jai Guru, Jai Guru.